Hello and welcome to round 5 of BSB Extra. This weekend we are back where we started, the iconic Brands Hatch circuit in Kent. But we're not on the little Indy circuit this time. We're on the full 2.4 mile long Grand Prix circuit. Fast and flowing and a real challenge for the riders. So sit back, relax and enjoy the action. We're heading up the show this week with the Ducati Trioptions Cup, a series currently being led by Leon Morris. But last time out at Knock Hill, it was Dennis Hobbs who took the double win. But who is going to be on top this week? Leon, Dennis, or could it be this man, Sean Neary? Let's find out with Neil McKenzie and Jack Bernacle.
The 2014 Ducati Trioptions Cup. The riders' points after 7 races. Leon Morris still leads the way by 14 points now from yesterday's race winner Dennis Hobbs. Marty Nutt in 3rd place, ahead of Rob Guyver, who was unlucky to break down during yesterday's race when he was well in the running. Behind them, Darren Fry, Sean Neary, Jonathan Railton, and the rest in the top 10. Ducati Trioptions Cup Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, their second of their races of the weekend. Dennis Hobbs, yesterday's winner, on pole position, ahead of Marty Nutt, who finished 2nd, and Rob Guyver, who was lying 2nd when he broke down. The 2nd row is headed by Leon Morris from Darren Fry and Jonathan Railton. Row 3, Aaron Brown, Alistair Fagan and Mark Cheetham. Ricky Holden heads row 4 from Daniel Fowler and Sean Neary. And back in 20th place is young Carl Stevens, the local boy who was just 19 last Thursday. Happy returns for last Thursday, Carl, and good luck. On the line, Dennis Hobbs on pole position. He is aimed straight for the very apex of Paddock Hill Bend, but as they charge off the line, I don't know whether he's made a good enough start, because it looked like Marty Nutt tried to cleave his way through inside, but Hobbs it is who emerges ahead of the Ulsterman as they charge up the hill into Druids.
Dream start for Dennis Hobbs there. Nice wide line as he headed down through Paddock, and I've got to say he was supremely confident in yesterday's race. Followed the guys for a while, then got in front, just got his head down. He was actually going faster over the last 3 laps. A little bit worried at one point, but he brought it home nice, safe and sound. But really, it was a brilliant setup on his 899 Panigale.
His teammate Leon Morris behind him, Marty Nutt 3rd, Darren Fry, Rob Guyver, Aaron Brown, Jonathan Railton back in 7th place, and Fagan gets another bright start in 8th.
And Rob Guyver, a favourite round here, won earlier in the year here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, but yesterday was running up the front and the gear linkage broke, so disaster for him, had to pull into the pits. And another rider had a bit of a nightmare was Sean Neary. He qualified well, but he had to come in on the warm-up lap with a clutch problem, so the guy's having a few issues, but all back in business today. Interesting, Sean Neary. Fastest of everyone through the first 2 sectors on this lap. He's in 9th position at the moment, but he obviously got a front running pace. If he can do a bit of passing, then there's no reason why he can't get in touch with at least the podium potential.
On to lap 3, Leon Morris, the 2011 champion, a clear champion in 2011 ahead of Mike Edwards and Robbie Brown, leads the way from Dennis Hobbs. And it looks as if these two have created a breakaway group, and the battle for the final rostrum position is between reigning champion Marty Nutt and number 13 on the high side Ducati, that is number 13 Rob Guyver.
And already lapping faster than he did yesterday. Dennis's lap yesterday was a 1:31.958, and Sean Neary did get the fastest lap on that last lap, a 1:31.485, so half a second faster already. A much faster pace today, and probably down to the cool track temperatures.
So as we come storming out of Clark Curve onto Brabhams to complete the 3rd of 10 laps, a real battle beginning to boil up between the 2 men who are leading the championship. A move now from little Rob Guyver, the former British 125 GP contender, forces Marty Nutt wide, right out onto the green paint, and that really damaged the Ulsterman's challenge. So Guyver, well, he went in deep, and he just kept going wider and wider till Marty Nutt had nowhere to go.
Quite a harsh but definite move there. Not really a dangerous move, but certainly wanted to push his way past. But look who's in the background. Sean Neary on the orange bike. He's working his way through the field. He didn't set another fastest lap, but he was fastest through the last 2 sectors, so really closed in on Nutt and Rob Guyver. And you see the Marty went a little bit wide into Paddock there, had to run wide, but Guyver saw that opportunity to dive down the inside and push Marty a little bit wider. Sean Neary now, he's loving a look at Guyver up the inside as the head out through the back up to Westfield.
Does Sean Neary particularly, I mean, he comes all the way down from Lymm in Cheshire. Does he particularly like Brands Hatch? I've never seen him this quick on the mymate.co.uk bike.
Yeah, he went good earlier in the year in the opening round. So yeah, he was strong here on the Indy circuit. So he's been hovering around, but he really is determined. And I really rate Sean. He's a fit lad. He works hard. They've got a nice little paddock set up, all orange, and it seemed like it took him a day to set up. I was watching the other day, so great team around him, hard working, and even when he didn't get to ride yesterday, he wasn't too disappointed. Quite philosophical about it all.
I saw that distinctive orange and white setup in the paddock. I thought that's very, very tidy. And here he is neck and neck. Here comes Marty Nutt trying to look back up Hillwoods Hill into Druids. He retakes that 4th place. So the battle on between Marty Nutt, the reigning champion, and Sean Neary, the 27-year-old operations executive from Lymm in Cheshire, who tries to squeeze up the inside through Graham Hill Bend and then has to regroup down Cooper Straight towards Surtees.
Yeah, that was quite a close cut thing there as they head through Graham Hill Bend, but Sean Neary really fast in that last sector, really closes in the last section of the racetrack, so he might have to wait there to pull that pass on Marty Nutt.
Down Pilgrim's Drop, he'll try again to get alongside. Up Hawthorns Hill, can't quite do it. He actually cut his teeth racing in, you know, my neck of the woods in the Wirral 600 Championship and the Wirral 100 Formula 600s. He finished 3rd in 2011, Sean Neary, before taking to the Ducatis.
Yeah, and he certainly has taken to them. Jonathan Railton, again, in 6th position, the best of the 848s, number 40, so doing a great job back there and doing some reasonable lap times as well. 1:32.268 for him, so he's charging through the pack as well.
Leon Morris on with 4 laps complete, coming up to half distance. Morris still has that couple of bike lengths advantage over Dennis Hobbs. It'd be interesting to see what sort of lap time Rob Guyver has put on as we see Marty Nutt really pressing hard, going through the Clark curve and then dropping down Paddock Hill. There is Guyver in 3rd. There's the battle for 4th place between Nutt and Neary. Fastest man on track, as I suspected it might be, Guyver in 3rd place. 1:31.73 on that lap. Looks to be closing the gap. The little man, Chinrod there from Raynham in Essex, really pushing hard on that distinctive black and yellow high-side motorcycles Duke.
Yeah, and Sean Neary once again fastest through that last sector, but not fast enough to get past Marty Nutt. Almost he saw his left foot come off the peg there at one point on that orange bike, but Marty Nutt's fighting back, and as we saw coming on the start-finish straight on that last lap, big sideways action from the Irishman. 2 teammates at the front, P&H Motorcycles, Carl Cox Motorsport, teammates of Dennis Hobbs and Leo Morris, so good friends off the bikes, but deadly rivals on the track.
Rob Guyver then, head down. Has he got time left to catch these two? Leon Morris, champion in 2011. Oh, and has a big moment there on the entrance to Surtees. That gave Hobbs the chance to just think about a line through, but he wasn't quite close enough.
Well, you just see how hard Leon Morris is pushing there, a little bit wide, as you said, into Surtees, and Guyver is also closer, slipstreaming Hobbsy into Hawthorn, not quite close enough to get through, but Leon Morris lost a gap, but he's picked it up again.
It almost seemed to benefit him in the end. He just, that moment he had where there's that kind of change of the tarmac and there's a bit of a bump on the entrance to Surtees and just unsettled him, but I think it unsettled Dennis as well. You can see how big Dennis Hobbs is. He's a big, strong lad, a lot of weight for this Ducati to pull round.
Yeah, as compared to Morris's power to weight ratio is much better than Dennis, and that could transfer into working the tyres a bit less. 4th and 5th there, Marty Nutt and Sean Neary just off the back now and seem to have settled down into 4th and 5th position. But Jonathan Railton's still doing a great job in 6th in his 848.
Howling across the line then to complete 8 laps. 2 to go here as Rob Guyver takes another peek up the inside at Paddock Hill Bend. He's now got the 2 leaders in his sights. 1:31.49, a couple of tenths quicker again on that lap.
Yeah, it's all happening, and good battle going on there at the back. Darren Fry in 7th, Alistair Fagan, the fast bikes man, in 8th position, and Aaron Brown still in 9th. Dave Ferns on the 2nd 848, he's in 10th position on the Amigo racing machine.
Breaking into the entrance to Surtees this time, Leon Morris keeps it tight and neat and leaves it to the others to try and find a way past. And then this is where he gains as he drops down out of Surtees and down Pilgrim's Drop. He really burns up the tarmac. Here comes Rob Guyver. He slots inside Dennis Hobbs. That's bad news for Hobbsy. He'd got that gap at the top of the table down to 14 points, but he straight away slaughters Rob coming out of Hawthorns and along the Minter Straight. What a move that was. Back to second.
Yeah, well, I think Rob pushing hard into Hawthorn there and running a little bit wide, didn't have the drive he needed coming out, but really interesting at the front. Leon Morris, he's set the fastest ever first sector time on this lap, so he's pushing hard. He knows he's under pressure. Dennis Hobbs is right back on him. It's going to be a three-way battle on the last lap.
As they come out of Clearways into the Clark Curve, this is for the second last time. We're on to the final lap of the Ducati Trioptions Cup, the second race of the weekend here at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit.
Dennis Hobbs really needs to get that extra 5 points. Leon Morris is leading the championship by 14 points. Dennis would love to claw that back. He really needs to do something. I'm not sure if he can. Rob Guyver looks like he dropped off the back a little bit, but I'm sure he'll catch that back up on the back straight. Morris a little bit wide there at Druids.
Dennis for a moment just thought on the plunge down towards Graham Hill he might have had a chance to get it took inside, but Morris still has the advantage down the Cooper Straight. Look at that huge frontal area of Dennis Hobbs.
not such a problem at that little straight, but on the longer straight it definitely would cause a bit of drag. Dennis is wide off the track on it. Cost them time, Jack. Cost them time.
Rob Guyver got right alongside him. Dennis glanced anxiously over his left shoulder. Rob went through, down Pilgrim's Drop, up Hawthorn Hill, and that really was a decisive mistake by Hobbs. Now he's got to somehow find his way back as they took inside. They've got a back marker ahead of them.
Yeah,
Leon Morris, number 2, leads the way. There's the battle for second place. Hobbs goes from the outside round Westfield. I've never seen anybody do that. Did it work? The back marker's in there. They sandwiched him. Oh, dear me.
There's another chance. There's another chance into Stirling. Dennis is on the grass.
Is on the grass. Well, and he really did try to go the long way round Sheen Curve. It's now Rob Guyver who's trying to nip at the heels of Leon Morris as they charge down out on the bridge. Clearways into Clark Curve. Leon Morris could make this virtually a start-to-finish victory. And it is going to be Leon Morris, number 2 on the Carl Cox Motorsport P&H Motorcycles. Ducati takes victory ahead of Rob Guyver and a chastened Dennis Hobbs. While at number 1, Marty Nutt finishes in 4th place. Sean Neary 5th. Jonathan Railton, best of the 848s, in 6th. And behind them, we've got the battle between Fagan and Brown. Alistair Fagan, the Fast Bikes magazine man. Does he get across? He does. Just edges across in front of Aaron Brown for 8th place. The Ducati Trioptions Cup Race 2 at Brands Hatch. Leon Morris takes victory over a hard-charging Rob Guyver. Dennis Hobbs, victim of a couple of mistakes on the final lap, slips to 3rd place ahead of reigning champion Marty Nutt, with Sean Neary in 5th. And Jonathan Railton, the best of the 848s, in 6th place. Alistair Fagan, Fast Bikes magazine journo, finishes a fine 8th. The Ducati Trioptions Cup, after 8 of 16 races, exactly halfway stage in the championship. Dennis Hobbs still within reach, 23 points behind Leon Morris at the top, with Marty Nutt in 3rd place, Rob Guyver in 4th, Darren Fry in 5th, ahead of Sean Neary, who is just ahead of Jonathan Railton, the leading 848. Dave Ferns is 8th ahead of Aaron Brown, and Alistair Fagan nudges into the top 10 ahead of Mark Cheetham, with Fowler, Gilfallen, Heel, Holden, the other Gilfallen, Wilson, Humphreys, Mann and Huckton Rustling rounding out the top 20.
Congratulations, Leon, your 4th win of the season. How was your race?
Yeah, it was good. We expected to be fast there. Yesterday we struggled for whatever reason. We didn't change much because there's no warm-up. But we had a new set of tyres for today. Played our cards right yesterday, I think, knowing we'd be stronger today. But over the moon, led it from start to finish. I knew they were there. I had +0 on my board the whole time, but you know, they were on my tail the whole time. But the P&H Motorcycles, Carl Cox, Ducati has been working amazing. They're such a great team. The whole atmosphere is brilliant, and the results are showing. You know, me and my teammate Dennis have had some cracking results this year, so a massive thanks to them. And but also my wife gave birth to a little boy a couple of weeks ago tomorrow, and this one's for the little bowman. This one's for you, mate.
Congratulations, a great race to start us off this weekend. But before we get to our next break, Here's what happened in round 5 of the Superstock Thousands. And remember, Danny Buchan has been awesome so far this year, and he won in the opening round here at Brands. Can he do the same again? Let's find out as Jack Bernicle takes us through the highlights.